Hello everyone, welcome to GGN. Today is Tuesday, January 22nd, 2013. I'm Darko. I'm going to continue here, but I'm going to shift gears away from the Middle East and all that. I know, sorry if that was kind of dry, but hey, sometimes it's not all that exciting to learn about the issues that's going on around the world. But some interesting news that I do have is this first article about these gun shows. 3 gun shows accidents in North Carolina, Ohio, Indiana on Gun Appreciation Day. So the first article that I heard about was the one in, I think it was Ohio. But either way, they kept saying the gun show, the gun show, the gun show. They used the word like 100 times in like only a 3-paragraph article, along with an accident, an accident, an accident. So, and I guess he was like checking his weapon and it was loaded and it went off and it hit 2 people. Nobody died. But it just makes me wonder when stuff like that happens, it's just too coincidental. I mean, how could people be so stupid when it comes to things like this? But I wouldn't rule out. I honestly, I don't know what the full particulars are of these stories, whether they were actually some kind of operation, black operations, but I know that they exist and they do go on, and something like this, on Gun Appreciation Day and all that, 3 gun show accidents, it kind of stinks. So another weird story was I was just talking to someone about, oh wow, watch this whole Martin Luther King celebration / Obama inauguration. Watch there be a shooting there too, And there was actually one. I was like, who knows? Maybe they'll try to spark off a race riot or something like that. And it's also kind of funny how you have his inauguration, the black president falling on the inauguration of an African American civil rights leader. So, but police in Mississippi State Capitol were on the lookout for a man who shot another man during a parade honoring the memory of Martin Luther King. So. Another interesting. I tried to find the article for the Kentucky shooting recently, because originally they reported the same thing. You'll see this in these reports, just regular AP reports, kind of just one sentence buried in there. An unidentified man was questioned about the shooting and then released. So you'll see that a lot, and that happened in Kentucky as well. I think these are the actual shooters sometimes, or these are handlers, right? These unidentified men who were let loose, like the guy that was in fatigues and stuff like that, run around in the forest in Connecticut, right? They just released him. And of course, his handler probably talks with the police, saying, "Oh, this guy works for us. We were here to try to prevent. We were here. We got a tip, and we were trying to prevent this." Well, the whole time they actually helped carry it out. New Mexico teen planned to keep shooting and head to Walmart, but instead a friend convinced him to meet at a church. The New Mexico teenager, this was over the weekend while I was away, the teenager accused of killing his parents and 3 siblings planned to keep killing until police shot him dead. So it says here that they told police that he put several loaded weapons, including an AR-15 assault rifle, AR-15 assault rifle, into the family van in the intention of driving to the local Walmart and shooting people at random. But Grigo called a friend first who talked him into meeting at a church where his father had been a pastor. So, interesting too, because another comment I made this weekend to somebody I know was that, they're not going to stop. I mean, trust me, it pisses me off, but there's, what am I going to do about it? I'm not going to force other people to do something like gun confiscations and stuff like that. This has something to do with society. This article too, there's another article here. Cops in New Mexico a shooter says what? He loved video games like the Prince, right? So everything's a video game now. I mean, there's probably a lot to that. But these shootings are not going to stop. They're not going to stop, whether the results of social engineering, economic warfare, or engineering, they're going to continue. And whether they're psyops to get guns, they're not going to stop. And it's just pretty sad and depressing. It's just really sad and depressing because the first article I see when I opened to go look for news articles today was at least 3 shot at Texas college. Right, here we go again. Officials in Houston say. In Texas say 3 people, one of them a gunman, have been injured after an argument at a community college escalated to this year's 5th school shooting to date in the U.S. They're going to push these people. They're going to push these people so much I'm talking about just regular people, gun owners, working people, until they just cave, until they capitulate. That's what these assholes do. They'll just push you until people are like, enough is enough. Even gun owners, enough is enough. Do something, right? And of course, they'll lose whatever rights they have left. And of course, these school shootings and these shootings will just continue. And actually, I would imagine they're going to escalate. Las Vegas police officer kills wife and son and himself. Said he called the police department early morning and told a dispatcher he killed his wife and young son, had set fire to the house, and would shoot anyone who came to his home in Boulder City. Says police later arrived and found the homeowner brandishing a gun at the doorway of the burning house, where he went back inside and killed himself. Then we have 33 changes to Connecticut's statewide emergency radio network house before the Newtown shooting. So it says here the Newtown truth tug of war is getting stronger or stranger each day, I guess both. Below you'll see the screenshots from the radioreference.com, information on the Connecticut statewide emergency radio network. There's a list of changes made in the beginning of approximately 5 hours before the shooting of Sandy Hook. So go in there and check that out. They also had exercises for this type of thing, a shooting or something like that, prior to this shooting. So again, just really, really strange, kooky stuff there that's going on. That, like in Paris with the rebels and the terrorists, internationalists meeting in Paris, stinking the place up. Just doesn't smell right. And you have Time Warner Cable Company bans some gun ads. The cable company has issued a company-wide ban on certain gun ads weeks after a mass shooting at Connecticut elementary school. We no longer accept ads showing semi-automatic weapons and guns pointed at people. It's a good point to make that, when you see this word semi-automatic, that makes it sound like it's automatic. It's not automatic, right? So why do they keep saying that? Because it scares people who are ignorant and don't know anything, right? Semi-automatic. Ooh, the bullet has to reload in the chamber every time. Ooh, it gets everybody scared. But hey, WB is going to put out movies like this, right? Bullet to the Head with Sylvester Stallone, another action thriller, killer, killing people, right? So that's by Warner Brothers. And you go in there and check it out. So real nice stuff. That's what I love. You got all of these liberal douchebags, especially in Hollywood, making these little what do you call them? PSAs, public service announcements about, Sarah Silverman, Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, just we gotta stop this. Come on, guys. Just end this already, And then they'll put movies out like the Django Unchained, which I was kind of coerced into watching, and I hated it. And movies like that. So they perpetuate the violence in the media, and then they cry and say, "Oh, we gotta pull the guns out of the bad people, right? Because only good people have guns, and we gotta take the guns away from the bad people. So if you have a gun, you're a bad boy. You're a bad guy." No guns, no guns. White House posts videos of kids begging for gun control. That's right, go in there and watch it. I didn't watch it. I guess it'll probably make me puke at this particular point of the day. After trotting out young children at the backdrop for his gun control rollout yesterday, White House released videos of young children reading anti-gun letters to the camera. No guns, no guns, no guns, no guns, pleaded one little girl. My opinion is it should be very hard for people to buy guns, said little Julia. It's a free country, but I recommend there need to be a limit with guns. Well, then it's not a free country. I thought I would write to you to stop gun violence. Of course, you're not going to stop gun violence because the state and especially police have a monopoly on violence, especially gun violence. So when all is said and done, people actually start to get free. The government, when people don't answer their demands anymore and they don't capitulate, what are they going to do? They're going to resort to gun violence. So no big surprise there. Gun show owner calls for Groupon boycott after it cancels his deal. Texas gun shop proprietor is calling for a boycott of Groupon after the coupon site canceled his deal for a concealed handgun training course. Quote, he said the CEO of the company decided that he's not going to do it anymore or do any more gun-related deals, recounts Cargo, whom we profiled in AOL Jobs last week. So yeah, that's pretty interesting, this voluntary gun control by these corporations. Reed Exhibitions, Eastern Sports and Outdoor Show bans assault rifles. So they announced that exhibitors would not be permitted to show or sell modern sporting home defense tactical rifles at this year's Sports and Outdoor Show in Harrisburg. They decided, quote, not to include certain products that in the current climate may attract negative attention that would distract from the strong focus on hunting and fishing, end quote. And like I said before, they're talking about the piece of crap AR-15s, which happen to be in these lone shooters' hands all the time, and they jam every time. A Connecticut representative introduces bill that attempts to initiate gun confiscation. Now, before you get all scared, there's all these states that are trying to propose counter measures, I think in Alabama and now in Alaska, to basically ban the federal government's reach. So it says here this bill was introduced by a representative, brought to the House last Monday, and counts with the support of one of her colleagues. This is the first attempt by a state government to follow up on the steps of the federal government to try to limit the possession of lawfully acquired firearms. This clearly intends to bribe the public into complying with government policy recently presented by Barack Obama, who signed 23 executive orders that affect the Second Amendment. So go in there and check it out. Yeah, let's not forget about the change to the IRS code to allow a tax credit for turning in your guns, right? New proposal will force gun owners to store assault weapons at government-authorized storage depots. So it goes on here, it says that because you can never have too many laws or regulations and mandates, Massachusetts State Representative David Linsky has filed a new bill that would, among other things, force gun owners to undergo mental health background checks, acquire liability insurance, pay an additional 25% tax on all forms of ammunition, and require firearms categorized as assault weapons to be stored outside of their homes and only at government-approved storage depots. So, wow. That's kind of like Chicago's law, where you have to, your carry laws, you can carry, you just can't carry outside your house, right? And then it's like, if you have a pistol, you got to keep it in a box, locked up in your trunk, right? So it's there when you need it. Hey, speaking of Chi-Town, the Chi-Town alderman put GPS tracking devices on all guns. So Southside alderman is asking for city council hearings on an unorthodox gun control measure to allow GPS tracking on firearms. Who knows if they already have them in there? It says that this Willie Cochran, a former police officer, has suggested that global positioning system chips to be embedded in new guns and retrofitted on existing firearms. They can be located if they go missing. So until they tell them, hey there, alderman, they already have GPSs in there, don't say anything. Gunning for no change, thousands of armed, kind of like with registration. Ooh, you're going to have to register. Well, anytime you buy a firearm, a lot of times you have to do a background check, which is de facto registering. So gunning for no change, thousands of armed protesters gather at state capitals and pro-assault rifle rallies across the country. Guns Across America held rallies after Obama unveiled a sweeping package of gun control proposals. The mass turnout includes thousands in New York and hundreds in Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Texas. Kind of like the Kentucky deputy sheriff that was saying he's not going to enforce these gun control measures. All of a sudden they had a shooting in a campus, I think it was a campus, right, in Kentucky. And then you have this. Minnesota State Representative said he would push to allow 21-year-olds to carry guns on college campuses, which seems like a sensible thing. Well, Texas, just today, Texas had a college shooting. So, see, this is what I'm talking about, dude. This is just too coincidental. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. This is getting ridiculously obvious. And I'm surprised nobody got shot at this freaking thing, right? Then from WorldNet Daily, kind of a Zionist source, states, it says with all this hoopla about gun control and record purchases, gun purchases and ammunition purchases, which help fund the military-industrial complex, now states are getting into action with several legislators already developing bills that would simply pull the rug from under the president's agenda by specifying that unconstitutional rules or regulations or executive orders won't be allowed. Well, good luck, right? And if they don't do that, then you could secede, right? You can declare the 10th Amendment or something and secede from the Union because your grievances aren't being aired, right? They're overstepping their constitutional boundaries. And then Obama, who's a constitutional scholar, would say, no, sorry, just like they increased the petitions to, 10,000 or something like that, and so that you can't even petition them. They just tell you to shut up. Sorry, that's not constitutional. You have Americans downbeat over U.S. state in the future, says a Gallup poll. A new nationwide poll indicates that a majority of the people in the United States are cynical about the situation in the United States and its prospects for the future. The results show that only 39% of Americans rate the current status of the country as positive. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.